stations. So the serviceability due to that existing disposal pipeline is continuously observing some scouring action due to the heavy currents. Its serviceability is completely demonized. Erosion of the soil loose because the banks are completely loose. So continuously soil erosion is taking place at particular location, and due to that there are so many damage points we have observed. There are so many pockets we have observed, and moreover at the downstream there are some mining activities. So the river stream is completely changing as per the location of the mining activities. Okay, so there are so many challenges at the particular existing effluent disposal pipeline. Now, as present pipeline cannot be withstand against the impacts of heavy floods and scouring, we need to go with the replacement of the existing pipeline. And suppose we are replacing, that cannot be the solution of this project. We need to go with the proper bank revetment works. We need to go with the pipeline protection work as well, so that we can increase its serviceability and its capacity. So according to the challenges, according to the scenarios, we have prepared the objectives that we need to overcome. One is to observe the site condition. Obviously, we need to analyze the existing effluent disposal pipe, and suppose we having the fixed capacity, that sufficient amount of discharge we need to take place at the downstream site. We need to evaluate the hydraulic parameter as well, whether it is sufficient to take this much amount of discharge or not. Okay, or else if it is capacity is adequate, then we need to go with this solution. But suppose its capacity is not adequate, then we need to upgrade it. Another is to propose the remedial measures for protection work against the scouring and flooding action, to prepare the relevant drawings of the various critical scenarios that we can present it in terms of the bank revestment, in terms of protection of the pipelines, in terms of hydraulics of the pipeline. So there are that are the different objectives that we need to overcome. Now let's discuss the site observation where we are we have just observed. So as you can see, there are multiple breaches point, or we can see the damage points within the site area. The structural stability is completely weakened at particular location because there is continuous action of the flooding in lateral movements of the submerged water at the particular site location. So there are, as you can see, there are existing aprons are still there that are completely displaced and eroded. You can see the aprons. Aprons is nothing but the stone pitching work. The stone pitching works, they are done in terms of gabions, but it is completely demonized. Now gabions have lost its stability throughout the 900-meter stretch. That is quite challenging to refurnish. Now the present condition of the pipe is nothing but the Hume pipe, non-pressure pipe. So the collar joint has been implemented before, but the joints are completely separated at the flooding location. Okay, so due to the vehicular moment near the entry of the common effluent plant, so there will be continuously there continuously movement of the vehicle at particular plant location. So in that case, pipe could be the damage. Now the present condition of the outlet is nothing but the free fall outlet, but it is the treated effluent, so it is easy to accommodate the free outfall. So that's not the challenging part, but the challenging part is to overcome this kind of scenarios. How we can resist it, that is quite challenging. Another free outfalls are also observed because some of the industries are directly allowing their outfalls through their rising mains or at the particular location. There are still the gabions walls are there as a part of the flood management, but there are in the intense flood it is completely damaged. Why this intense flood occurred at this region? Because the Badi is surrounded by the region of mountains. So once the heavy rainfall intensity is occurring at the particular that upstream region, the flooding intensity can be takes place due to the cloud burst. So again, I have told you the river is quite challenging because it is narrowing width in terms of there is a narrowing width of the river in terms of elevation. So that can create the heavy floods. So in non-monsoon season, the flow is very lean and very as you can see, normal condition of the Viswamitra, the flow is very normal in that case. But once the monsoon comes, during that 4 months, to withstand against this kind of flooding is quite challenging. So to understand this kind of scenario, to analyze the present condition, we need to collect some data. We have collected the topographical survey. So topographical survey is required to propose the pipeline route, to understand the elevation difference, to understand the different condition of the existing pipeline. Then river bank details and coverage area is also important, because whether river banks, how much elevation it contains, how much width space it contains, what could be the possible scenarios that we can implement in the particular river banks stations. So that is again the important part to understand. Now the top levels, invert levels of existing manholes is also important to understand. Then what is the possible river reach? What could be the exact boundaries of that river stream? That is again one of the data which we require to analyze it. Then we need to understand whether we having existing irrigation lifting station or not. If it is there, then we need to, again it is the treated effluent, but still we need to shift our disposal point. So that information is also required once you planning the any of the effluent treated effluent disposal pipeline at the river plain. Now, distance of the existing pipeline and boundaries of the CETP from the river reaches, that is again important point, because accordingly your HFL can be shifted. Okay. River path and probable influence of the site area is also important to understand. And the road crossings and bridges. If there is a road crossings or bridges are there, then how we can shift the alignment, how we can close our alignment. So that information is also required. So this kind of data collection is required once you planning the treated effluent disposal pipeline at particular location of the river plains or near the river streams. So this is the methodology of the hydraulic modeling. Once you design the treated effluent or any of the effluent disposal pipeline or the sewer model, you need to understand this kind of hydraulics. Once you need to fix the study area, then you need to collect the topographical details. If it is gravity main, then you need to understand what is the exact location from the upstream to downstream. Okay. Then model building, you need to build the model. So during building the model, you need to fix the route. Once you fix the route, then accordingly your alignment will be taken. Alignment elevation will be taken. Then you need to assign the wastewater generation rate. How the wastewater is there, how that again waste that assigning the distance, you know the how much waste you need to carry out in terms of discharge. Once you know the from which route location, from which elevation to downstream side you need to withdraw the discharge, you need to assign the design parameters. That is nothing but the hydraulics. Now all the design parameters, we having the separate standard for it, CPHEO manual. So according to the CPHEO manual, there are different standards for particular design of effluent disposal pipeline. We can say the design of sewer in that case, because CPHEO consists with the design of sewers. But the standards we can consider same for the effluent disposal pipeline. Only chemical characteristics are affecting more. So in that cases, we need to shift the generation rate. Okay. So after that, you need to decide the outfall location where you need to allow the outfall. You will review the network and you will optimize the network. Suppose your capacity is not easy to take the sufficient discharge. So in that case, you need to optimize depth and diameter. Okay. So that's how you can build a model. We will see in the sewer gems how we can build it. Okay. So before understanding how you can build a model through sewer gems, you need to understand how you can work with the sewer gems. So first of all, you will import the survey drawing. Once you don't have the survey drawing, you need to assign manual grid points at the sewer gems. So there are some facility at the sewer gems called the model builder. So through the model builder, you can import the survey drawings. Next is assign the topography. You already built the different elevation points, but you need to assign accordingly as per the alignment. So in that case, you need to run the topography by means of T-Rex. So there are two tools through which you can import the survey drawing and you can assign the topography. One is the model builder, through which you can import the survey drawing. One is the T-Rex, through which you can assign the topography. Next is you need to assign the wastewater generation rate. Suppose you are having the fixed wastewater generation like 25 mld, 31 mld, or 20 mld, you need to directly import it, or else you need to go with some generation of the individuals industry. That generation you need to collect, and accordingly you need to shift your generation rate in terms of wastewater. Now, after allowing wastewater rate, you need to go with the assigning of the slope. Whenever you are planning any of the sewer model, any of the effluent treatment model, you always need to take care of slope constraint. Okay. Then velocity constraint. Again, suppose your velocity is extending through the predetermined value, that is not the considerable design, or else it is decreasing from the non-silting velocity value. Again, it is challenging. So what could be the limit of that velocity constraint? We will see in the CPHEO manual criteria in our next point. But these three parameters are very important to assign in terms of design criteria. Then whether you are identifying any drop or not, what could be the pipe cover, that is another important criteria to understand once you are modeling with the sewer depths. After assigning all the parameters, you need to provide the material of the pipe, and once you are providing material, each and every material having associated coefficient value. That value may be the Manning's roughness value. Okay, so CPHEO standards following the Manning's roughness value. So you need to assign that roughness value for each and every material. Suppose you're having different kind of materials at particular location, you need to assign accordingly. Okay. Now after that, you need to assign population on each manhole. That the junction itself defining as a manhole. Once you are deriving sewer model or any of the treatment effluent treated model, okay, so in that case each and every manhole will describe as a junction in the sewer jets. Okay, at the end you need to fix the outfall location as per the site condition. You need to check with, okay, there are some different standards to accommodate the outfalls, but when it is coming on the river plain or any of the stream, you need to be precise to fix the outfall at the particular site location. Now after assigning all this work, you need to run the model, and after running maybe you will find some error. So after you are finding any of the error, you need to resolve it accordingly by optimizing the depth and pipe diameter as per the economy and hydraulically maintained standards. So this is how you can work with the sewer gems. So before open the model, I need to introduce some basic consideration in terms of design criteria. So for this modeling work, I have used a sewer gems model. Reference for is nothing but the CPHEO manual. That is again the fixed standards to model the sewer or treatment units. Okay. Next is the design flow. Design flow of the common effluent treatment plant is 31 mld. Okay. So we need to run we need to run our model with this design flow. There are infiltration rate that can be come into the joints of the particular junctions of the sewer, or there may be having chance of the leakages at particular location of the junctions. So you need to accommodate the infiltration rate. Then Manning's coefficient of roughness in terms of whatever material you have selected, whether you are selecting HDPE pipe. Okay, in that case you need to assign the value 0.010. In case of MS, you need to assign value of 0.011. Next is the depth of the flow. That is called D by D ratio. Okay, so D by D ratio we are maintaining is a 0.8. Next is minimum and maximum velocity constraint. We cannot assign velocity directly. Velocity will be given by the model. Suppose my model is giving velocity 0.3 at particular stretch. So that is again the below range of the non-silting velocity, that we cannot allow it. Okay, suppose my model is giving the velocity criteria of 2.8 or 3. In certain cases we can go with the 2.8, but suppose it is exceeding 3.5 or 4 or something, so again in that case we are not allowing into our model generation. Okay, so depth of the cover depends upon the site condition. So in that case again the standard is not required, but as per the site condition you need to maintain the depth of the cover. Minimum cover requirement is again mentioned in the CPHU manual part. The most important is the slope of the sewer. As per the diameter range you can assign the slope. Okay, that we will see in the our model. So let me open my model so you can easily understand the criteria. So I have just opened the Sewer Gems model. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you. So I have just given the scenario of the ultimate flow. So before understanding the scenario, I'm just zooming the model so you can understand the what junction is classified. As you can see, this can be nothing but your junction. So how we can import the model first of all. So in that case, you need to assign the model builder. Okay. So from this, as you can see my screen, this is the model builder tool. Okay. Through this model builder tool, we can allow the topography or we can allow the elevation to our model. Okay. Next is you can see is nothing but the T-Rex. Okay. So from T-Rex, see, this is the CAD files, or you can import the EC shape file as well. You can also import the shape files if your shape files or your GIS file having the Z coordinates. Okay, if they having the elevations, you can directly import the shape files as well. So in this case, we have imported the CAD files. Okay, so the CAD files, those containing the elevation points, or we can say the spot levels. After that, we need to assign the topography. So for that we having the T-Rex tool. From T-Rex tool we having the different inputs. So we need to assign the data source, we need to assign the unit of the data source, and nextly we need to assign the topography for the particular model. So from these two tools you have already see the alignment. Now at alignment you need to fix the manholes. So suppose your manholes have already after assigning the topography, your manholes will have the ground levels. Okay, so for you already have the ground levels. So for each and every manhole you need to assign some characteristics. Now these you can see is nothing but the pipeline. Okay, so firstly I'm just clicking on the manholes so you can easily understand the properties of the manhole. So obviously we have assigned from the topography. So our topology is active. Okay. Then elevation of the ground, it is already taken by the topology. Okay. We need to assign the structural type, or in that case, we need to assign the physical structural losses, which in this case we are considering at the beginning, because after designing it will directly give the results. Okay, so this is the results that we are observing for each and every manhole. So how we can have the result, that we will see. The thing is that how much characteristics we need to accommodate. The first characteristic is the topography of the particular location, that is nothing but your ground elevations. Okay, then once I am clicking on the pipeline tool, okay, so I need to fix, suppose I am having the fixed diameter and I don't need to change it, I just need to analyze it. I will stop the design methodology. In that case, my model will always analyze the pipe. Suppose I need to design it as per the capacity of the requirement, as per the capacity of the disposal unit. I need to design it. So I need to active the true. So suppose I require the invert levels, because once you are allowing the designing, you will always have the invert levels. Suppose you are only just analyzing the model, you need to import the invert level as well. What is invert level? Invert level described as the bottom of the pipeline at manhole location. Fine. So you need to give it. Fine. So again, you need to assign the Manning's roughness coefficient. Okay. You need to assign the user defined length. Suppose you have not imported the model from the topography. In that case, you need to assign the each and every length. Suppose you have already imported the skilled model from the AutoCAD source or shape files and other things of GIS supported file. In that case, length will be assigned automatically. Okay. So after running the model, you may found the diameter. So in this case, you may have the diameter. But before running the model, you need to check the design components. So these all are the defined design components. So these components, these constraints have to fulfill the requirement of CPHEO manual. So in this case, I have restricted my velocity. Okay, it is once it is below value of 0.30, it is not permissible. Okay, suppose you have the table from table units, you need to assign the table constraint as well. So each and every rise section, you may have the velocity details. Okay, then you need to identify the cover. What could be the minimum cover and maximum cover? Again, it is followed by the same standards as well as the site condition. I have mentioned in my model that as per the diameter, you need to assign the slope constraint. So again, this is considering by the manual standards. Okay, the most important thing is the percentage full constraint. Whether it is partially running, whether it is running full, or whether it is running below the partial constraint. So in that case, you need to assign the percentage full. So most of the CVR case, in most of the CVR case or treated case, we are just assuming that we need to design as the disposal unit or any of the CVR unit running partially full. So we need to assign percentage full. It should always around 70 to 85 or something. Fine. So these are the default design constraints that we need to assign in terms of slope, in terms of maximum or minimum velocity, in terms of cover requirement. And then after, your model will be allowed to run. Okay, so once you run the model, okay, you need to allow the model allow the simulation to calculate the model, and it may have the results. Okay, so if you want to see the results, you need to go with the flex tables. Okay, in the flex table, you having the different categories. So suppose you need to obtain the conduit XLS. So you can have this conduit XLS in terms of results. In this case, you need to check your diameter with its capacity. You need to check the minimum maximum velocity, which if it is following our standards or not. You need to check the rise percentage in terms of depth. Okay, so these all are the different components that you are just checking it. If it is not satisfying your criteria, then you need to reassign the model. Okay. So in this case, I have already activated my model tool to allow the diameter to design. So this is that's why it is designed the diameter. So we want the exact requirement of the diameter. Now the most important thing is the material requirement that we need to assign. So we need to at each and every pipeline, okay, you need to assign the material as well. Fine. That material itself having its own library in the CVR gems. But suppose you are following the other standards, you can change it in terms of Manning's value. So Manning's value itself is defined your material type. Fine. So that's all about the modeling work. Now after assigning model, we need to go check our results. So I already shown my diameter to you. So that is one of the result which can prove that this could be the inner diameter which is required to accommodate that 31 mld of discharge. Fine. So again, we having different choice of the material for particular pipe selection. So we need to compare it. We cannot directly fix the material for any of the location. We need to derive it. What could be the different parameters, different properties against which our material will be survived. So we having 4 characteristics. GRP, FRP pipes are very useful nowadays to allow the treated effluent or effluent disposal pipeline. But in this case, we need to allow the so with the straw we are allowing the effluent disposal pipeline or treated effluent disposal pipeline because there may be chance of having reaction. So the corroded property could be the challenging factor. So in that case, we need to allow some gunneting or cement mortar lining inside and outside. So that material can be sufficient to resist the serviceability, to increase the serviceability actually, to resist the corrosive property of the material itself, and there will be less chemical reaction if it is lining properly. So hydraulically it is safe, structurally it is safe, but still chemically and other factors are more important once you are allowing sewer designing or you are considering the treated disposal pipeline. So this parameter you need to check for its serviceability. Fine. So as a result, in terms of result, we having different alternatives. Okay. So why we have considered alternatives? Because again, I am telling you, our challenge is not only to design the pipeline in this case. Our challenge is to allow our pipeline to withstand against the different flooding impact, soil erosion capabilities, and each and every challenges that we have observed in our site observation point. So we have considered first option. Suppose we are allowing MS pipeline, it is partially protected with the encasement. Now the word come encasement. Encasement is the covering of the pipeline. Now you cannot directly allow the encasement with the fixed thickness. You need to check its structural stability. Okay. So from particular manhole, at the particular manhole, we are just allowing the pitching requirement. And after particular manhole, we are just converting it into the encasement unit. So this is the idea, and how much cement mortar lining which we are allowing into the pipeline. And it is the status of the pipeline is buried. We are not allowing onto the onto the banks. Okay. So in this case, it is already encased in the downstream side. On the upstream side, it is completely protected with the stone pitching one, which is one of the techniques of the bank revetment that we will discuss in our next point. In the option 2, we have considered the MS pipeline without encasement. But in this case, we have allowed the spatial excavation work. Okay. So spatial excavation, in this case, pipeline is already buried, but its partial part is completely filled by the clay materials and pitching materials. Okay. So as you can see, the pipe is enclosed with the soil mass up to the half perimeter and stabilized soil, which is compacted by 90% compacted. Okay. And later on it is filled by the embankment. So its half perimeter is completely encased in that case. Even if we are not allowing any concrete work in that, we have used the stabilized soil. So half perimeter is completely safe with this encasement. Okay. But in this case, risk factor is only the possibility of erosion in case of heavy flood after long run. Okay. Suppose your embankment is completely removed, that stabilized soil will not remove because of its better compactness at particular location. But the embankment which we are allowing onto the pipeline, then maybe having chances of removal that section. Okay. Point number 3 is we are considering RCC Hume pipe without encasement, but in that case we are allowing 2.5 mm thick HDPE lining. Again, later on this Hume pipe can be faced different challenges of the chemical reaction and other things. So we need to allow the inner lining of HDPE because HDPE is quite safe against this kind of impacts. Fine. So again, it is very safe pipeline. So there may be again in this case we have not allowing encasement. So soil erosion could be that, but it is quite economic to use this pipe with some modification. Okay. So under the full submerged condition, there may be having a chance of soil get eroded with is less shear strength. So maximum spacing between the manholes is 100 meter in this case, but in the once you model the sewer, in that case your spacing should be 30 meter. Fine. The velocity for disposal system is, as we have observed in the output, it is maintaining 1.07 meter per second, which is again greater than 0.60 and less than 2.5. Okay. So these all are the consideration in terms of results. Now, what are the river bank revetment techniques that can be used? So there are so many techniques. So geotextile import is one of the techniques. Then gabions is one of the techniques, and we can use the protection work in terms of carrots, and the carrots are completely filled by the stones, so that can be categorized as a stone pitching. So in this case, we have used the stone pitching methodology. You can have the gruans is one of the revetment works that we can use as a flood management. Fine. So in this particular methodology, this case we have used the stone pitching, which is completely based on the handbook published by the Flood Management Organization CWC 2011. So during this derivation, we have used the code, because codal practice will give you the exact methodology how to design the stone pitching. That is based on 1426 to 1995. So let's understand how we allow the revetment works. So in this case, you can see the different parts. Okay, the first part consists with the 9650 square meter, and in this case, if you can able to see my arrow, the stone pitching slide like this. Okay, it is followed by approximately 2 gem 1 slope. This is nothing but the key end which we have provided. So your pipeline bottom, so suppose you are allowing offset in the AutoCAD in this section, you can find your bottom is quite above than this toe, bottom level of toe. Fine. So in next part B, the slope is quite increasing. Here it is not nearly 2 gem 1, but it is like below. But in this case, it is exactly 2 gem 1. Okay. So as you can see, the key is now extending up to some extent. That is nothing but the aprons. Okay. Once you are allowing this kind of scenario, you need to launch your apron. The stone pitching is extending beyond the key point, and again at the end you are also allowing one extra key. So this is the stone pitching that can be protect the pipeline as well as your banks. So for all options, you are having common consideration that there are 2 layers of stone pitching, which is derived by that code. Size range with 260 to 450 mm up to the 1 meter depth. We are allowing graded filter media of 280 mm because we cannot allow directly stones onto our pipeline. Okay, we need to allow some graded filter media, and then we can allow the stone pitching over it. So the thickness of the graded filter media, that could be the possibly silty material like gravels type of material we have. Okay, so graded filter media having thickness of 280 mm, and protection of part A of the toe is range with this size. Part B launching apron, we are just extending up to the particular extent, and gradient for the part A as per the ground profile, actual ground profile of the bank. But for part B, we are following the slope 2 gem 1. Suppose it is exceeding it, in that case we need to go with the slip circle analysis. We need to check the overturning, and we need to check some stability of the slope. Okay. So effluent disposal pipeline protection work for the option 1. So as per the different depth of the manhole and diameter range, your wall thickness is defined, because protection works are always depending on the how much thickness you having for particular pipeline mechanism, whether it is sufficient to take the loads which is coming from the upper side. Then in that case your pipe will not require some protection work. Suppose that thickness is not sufficient, you can increase the thickness, but you cannot increase at certain extent, because each and every pipeline having standardized thickness. Okay, so in that case you need to go with the protection work that is followed by the IRC standards and guidelines of Transportation Research Board for pipeline protection. So this is the encasement detailing for embankment option 1. as your depth is ranging from 0.1 meter, 0 to 1 meter, your wall thickness having 0.4. So this ABC you can see in this figure is denoted by this detailing. Okay, as you can see, you are increasing at certain depth value, automatically your wall thickness will be reduced. Wall thickness is nothing but your concrete wall which we are allowing for the pipeline protection wall. So from first thickness, first depth, you having the you require the greater wall thickness. Once you are just going downwards, in that case your wall thickness will be reduced. For option 2, as I have told you, it is partially buried. Okay, so this is the d by 2 portion, half perimeter is considered by the stabilized soil. And again on the as an embankment we are also using the well compacted soil. But still in the certain cases, if it is not working properly, in the later ages you can find some erosion. In this case, only important part is how you implemented it. Fine. Option 3 is arrangement of the Hume pipe. In this case, its thickness is still sufficient to take the overburden pressure and uplift condition. Okay, so in that case, you don't require any pipeline protection, but itself is sufficient to take heavy loads. So structurally, it is very safe. But hydraulically, some criteria, suppose it is full submerged condition. In that case, in case of heavy uplift occurs, it cannot be survived. So this is quite challenging, but it is safe structurally. This is one of the point. So this is the disposal point. You cannot allow exact free discharge. The type of the discharge, type of the outfall is free, but you are just guiding it, so it can glide over the surface and then it allow to be submerged into the downstream. Fine. So there are some common consideration for option 1 and option 2 and option 3, and option 1 is quite different. Again, pipeline is covered with the screen cages to resist the backflow debris. Once in that case, suppose heavy floods are there, so there may be having possibility of having backflows. So backflows come with different debris and impact works. So this cage is sufficient to resist it. So the recommendation on basis of this analysis, we need to recommend. So option 1 is quite suitable because it is structurally and hydraulically safe, because from upstream side it is completely protected with the bank revetment works. Okay, and on downstream side it is completely covered with the pipeline protection work. So it is completely safe. Okay, and in case of option 2, upstream side is again protected with the bank revetment works, but from downstream side it is enclosed by the partial embankments. Okay, of the stabilized soil, and remaining partial embankments in terms of compacted soil. So again, it's having some risk factors associated with it, and adoptable. If you are considering the economic criteria and structural criteria, option 3 is quite suitable, but later on it can create the challenges. So that's enough from my side. So suppose you need to see the model again from upstream side. This is your first point. Okay, from manhole number 1, as you can see, your river is completely downwarding towards the downstream side. Up to manhole number 8 or 9, you are providing the bank revetment works. Okay, and in this case you are allowing the pipeline protection work up to your outfall location. So that's are the different solutions that we can have once we are planning any of the treated effluent disposal pipeline or effluent disposal pipeline at particular river section. Fine. So enough for my side. So I'm just allowing presentation to be ended. And let me know in case you're having doubts so we can discuss it.
Yes, actually it's a live streaming, so students will not be able to ask the questions now. It will be beneficial for students if you can share your email ID. So if they have any question, they can ask you.
Fine. So I'm just sharing my email ID into my last slide. So you can have my email ID as you can see on this slide. If you have any doubts, this K is small. It is not capital one. Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. I thank you on behalf of Parallel University. It has been a very enlightening session with you. I hope all the students have learned a lot of things from this.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you, sir.